Hi, welcome back to our tutorial sessions. This is lesson 6, working with color. You can find it starting on page 221 in your textbook. I already copied the lesson 6 files from the Adobe CIB folder on the U drive to my personal drive. So I am going to go to the lesson 6 folder there. I'm going to open that one and I'll be looking in the lesson 6 site. And on page 222, we are asked to open the lesson 06 start file and save it as academics.html. Make sure that it goes into the root folder and click Save. By default, background colors are white. If we wish to, we can put different colors in, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this next section. I'm going to go to Setting Page Background Color on page 223. Step 1 asks us to go to the index file in the site. So I'm going to click the Select window to go to the site, and I'm going to double-click Index to open that file. I'm going to go to Special on the menu, going to go to Page Properties. And if I go to the inspector now, my inspector has become a page inspector. Step 2. In step 3, I can see that in the background there's white for the color. Could check it. And if you click and hold the black triangle in the bottom right corner, you can see a list of the various color libraries that are available. We're going to go to Web Named Colors, and then I'm going to click and hold down on this button again. My web named colors are now at the top, and I am looking for the one that's called Steel Blue, and it's 4 over and 3 up from the bottom left. I'm going to click, or I haven't let go of the mouse yet, so I'm going to be on it and let go, and the background of my index page is now set to that color. Step 5 asks me to go to the Source tab in the document window. So I just click that, and you can see that there's a tag in here that says body background color is pound 4682B4. So that is the number code, hexadecimal number code for the steel blue color. And we're in step 6, asked to save the file, so I'll save. I'm going to close the index page, and we'll move on to setting background color with CSS on page 224. My site folders are available. If you look, there's a CSS folder in here, and if we click the plus here, we can expand that. And notice that there's 2 sets of CSSs in here. We have a basic and we have basic end CSS. So the basic CSS was the one that was created by default when this web page was first opened. The basic end CSS would have been the CSS that had been generated when the individual who did this lesson before us did the lesson 06_end. So that basic end CSS would be tied to that sample page. My academics.html file is open, step 2, but it's not in front, so I'm going to click on it. I am in layout mode. I'm going to go to the back edge of this and click Open CSS Editor. We are working with the basic cascading style sheet, and I'm going to double click it to open it. In the CSS definitions, I'm going to click on the body name, and then I'm going to go to the background area and click the background properties button. Right now, the default value for Go Live, in Go Live for this color, is white. It has an assigned value, as you can see that this color name here is in blue rather than in black as the other ones are. Turning the page to step 5, we are going to hold this triangle down. We have the web colors at the top already, so I'm looking for something called dark slate blue. It's in the second row and it's about 8 units over. That sets that color as my CSS. When I click close, I'll be asked if I want to save, and I'm going to say yes. If I close my editor, you'll notice that the background color of my academics page is now blue. And we're asked to, in step 7, to close the academics page. We are now on page 226 using the color palette. Step number 1, if your color palette is not currently visible, choose Window Color to open it. Our color tab is open. Step number 2 says click on the academic page, which unfortunately didn't rename properly, and mine is called Lesson 06 Start. And instead of clicking on it, I think we should double click it to open the page. On our main toolbar, there's an object selection tool. We'll activate that tool, and then we're going to click in this gray area by Home Academics. Notice in our inspector it picked up a color, and we're asked to click on that color. And now you notice that the appearance of the border on that color has changed, and it's also shown up now in our color box underneath here. There's a bunch of reading that you could do as you look through this area here, and I suggest that as we're working through this, you might want to pause this from time to time, and I'll just let you look at it yourselves. Step number 3 asks us to click on the gray and then go over to the slider and move it. Notice that the gray slider goes from 0, which is black, to 255, or if you look at the hex value underneath, double F, or in this case all 6 Fs. If you look here, you can see that there's a gray slider. If you click the next button here, that's the RGB, red, green, blue, and those are related to screen colors. And if you remember, web pages are on screen. And if you move these sliders, you'll notice that the color itself changes. You can also physically or manually type in values, and your textbook points out that if you set all of the sliders to be the same color, you end up with a gray. Step number 5 asks us to take the red slider all the way over to the 255 area, and I think we should probably readjust these other 2 sliders also. Or if you wanted to, you could click in underneath here and you could type in the value shown there at the bottom of step 5 as FF8888. And that also sort of covers step number 6, where we could type in, as suggested, DA2323, 2323, and hit enter, and that will set a color, bright red. The last thing that we're asked to do is to kind of mouse over or scroll over this page with our select color tool. So I'm going to scroll to the top of this page and I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, and if I click in various places on this table picture, you'll notice that the color tool picks up colors from the various areas, and this can be useful when you're trying to find complementary colors or reinforced colors from images on a page. The last thing we want to do as we leave this section is use the tabs or the colors on the bottom of your color tab, and these are colors that have been used on your page already. So pick a color of gray and apply it to that box. So we should be able to select the color from here in the inspector area and then click on one of the colors in the bottom here and apply it to that Home Academics text box. The swatches area here shows the colors that you have available to you for your website. If you wish to add a color to it, you have a couple of choices. You can build a color. go over to your swatches and click the bottom, create new swatch, and it will take the color of your selected object and put it in your swatches palette. Notice it will also put that same color into your used colors along the bottom here. We should note that you can add colors in other ways also. You can type in hex values of known colors, and you can also go to the swatches and you can open swatch libraries and you can pull in colors from any one of these libraries. Word of caution though, the actual web, the internet, only understands certain colors. So be careful with what you pick. We're going to move on to page 235, extracting color from an image. You use the eyedropper tool, pick the color that you want to use, and it should show up in the color area here, and then go to swatches and click new, and there you go, you've added a color to your swatches palette from something else. That brings us to working with site colors on page 237, because we already created our custom colors from page 236. Step 1 says click on the colors tab of the site 06 window. So I need to look at the site, and there's the colors tab. I'm going to go to site on the menu, update, add used colors. There'll be a scanned colors thing that shows up here. Then we're asked to go to the Files tab. We're asked to double click and open College of Arts. We're asked to go back to the Colors tab. And I'm going to resize this a little bit because we're asked to try to make sure that we can still see this Colors of Arts page. Go back to the Colors tab. Step 5. Find the steel blue color. Go to the color palette, click on the RGB button. In the hex value, enter 46826B and hit enter. Apparently there should be a change link button that shows up for the College of Arts, but it didn't. The index page did, so I'll take that and I'll go OK. And we are done lesson 6.